Hello, thank you for appreciating my presence here, and thank you for inviting me, Matt and Richard. I'm really honored to be here amongst all these very inspirational talkers. So we'll try to be a bit inspirational as well. My name is Kari Anna Fiskvik, and I'm from the Nordic Choice hotels, as Richard just said. And today we're going to try to talk about how we work with teams and culture together with tech and digitalization. The company that I work for, we're very determined to have the best culture in the world, and we believe that culture is a very good investment. It is said that companies that create sort of, an open and diverse atmosphere are able to create more products and do more innovation as well. And we know that our guests, they are very diverse. They're different kinds of people. And we believe that we have to mirror our guests in there to be ordered to actually cater for their needs and to be able to digitalize at the sort of space and then a pace that we are seeing today. We also believe that we need to have a lot of different mindsets and skill sets to get that actually working. So we work very hard with culture, we work very hard with our values, and that is actually one of the things that inspired me to work for this company in the first place. Actually, this was my first job application in 20 years when I saw this job coming out. I hadn't written a job application for ages, so I didn't really know how to do it, and my managers later told me that it was crap, actually. And I'd just come out of a period where we'd been, I had a really great job in fashion, doing tech and logistics there as well. It was a great company, but I'd been there for quite a while. And I'd also come out of a 2-year period wherein my son successfully battling cancer. So I was at a point in life where I wanted to do something else. And I looked at this company, I said, I want to work for someone that is very, ambitious but fun, where you can actually do a lot of bold stuff. And that's what we do in Nordic Choice hotels. And luckily, they took me in, even though my application was crap. And I think they only took me in because there aren't that many female VPs of tech yet. But we hit it off, and I'm glad to say that I'm here. This company, we report on a triple bottom line. So we have people, planet, and profit as our values. And we measure ourselves in that order. We call ourselves the UN of the hotel industry because we have around 180 different nationalities working with us. 40% of them are from non-Western countries, even though we're up only in the Nordics. And 65% of our directors are women. And the number of people who identify as another gender than straight is not something that we measure because we don't think it matters. We'd like to say that our door is always open, both to different kinds of employees, but also to different kinds of guests. And wherever you come from, and if you're gay, straight, or if you're a refugee, you have a disability or a master's degree, gaps in your CV, we want to welcome you into our hotel company. And we think that this approach is what gives us the best culture in the industry, because with this mindset of variety of mindsets represented, we have the potential to develop more innovative products and services and then cater to a broader customer base. And we have been challenged by many on our culture. We do receive a lot of racially directed messages. We have net trolls that are constantly at us. And a lot of people are asking us, isn't this an issue for you? Isn't this something that you want to, avoid? But to us, it really isn't. The culture is our value set, and this is how we work. And we think it is what makes us good. So we welcome criticism, but we won't let anyone take away those values. We also love to call ourselves, rebels of the business, and we want to work with climate questions that well as well. So we've made up our minds to try to be climate neutral in 2030, which is only 7 years away, so it's a bit ambitious. It's a huge task, and it involves, waste, energy, water, food, climate, footprint, transport, animal welfare, and tech, of course. And I don't know if you thought about this, because I didn't really think about it myself until we really started working with it in this company, that the pollution that we create from the IT industry today, it actually takes a forest up to the size of Canada or Greenland to contain that pollution. And we are actually the second largest consumer of commercial energy in the world today in the IT industry. And that's quite a thought because, when I entered the industry, we were like, oh, you don't have to, we're saving trees because you don't have to print anymore. But the truth is, if we don't think about that, we will be, destroying the climate as well. So our tech team has set up a goal that we will actually try to reduce our climate footprint with 10% each year as well. That is also quite ambitious, but we've done a great deal already, and we'll keep working on it. And if we manage to achieve that climate goal, we think we will have a huge competitive advantage as well. And we believe that is the key to making sure that we do that, is to be very transparent about it. So we want to talk about it, we want to tell everybody what we want to achieve, so that we're actually measured on it, and we have to do it. We can't, just say it amongst ourselves and then hide if we don't succeed. We're going to exhibit it, actually. Clients and potential customers will be able to track our climate footprint on our website, and they will know what kind of impact they are making if they stay with us. And we think that this will actually speak to business leaders and make sure that we gain market share. We think that it is profitable to bet on climate. We know, amongst other facts, that the cost of around 1 kilo of waste is estimated to be around 100 euros. And we have hotels that have saved around 7,000 euros on food waste in just 1 month. And with around 220 hotels, that is a lot of money saved. So we think it's very profitable to work with climate issues as well. Which brings us to our third, value, profit. So I'm already mentioning it. We think that culture is profit. We think that climate is profit. And I'd like to, illustrate it with a little story about how we'd work with culture and climate. That is actually quite true. I'm just going to have a sip of water first. Right. So, on the 1st of December 2021, Norway went into its third lockdown, as many of you did probably, due to the breakout of Omicron. And on that very same day, the same day that we were, in all practical ways, banned from doing business again, we were also hacked. So as soon as we realized this in the tech team that we were under attack, we cut down all the internet lines. So at this point, on the 1st of December, we had no physical contact with the rest of the world due to the lockdown, but we also had no digital contact with the rest of the world due to the hacker attack. So that's a great day. Actually, I also had corona, but I didn't know that yet. So we say it was a bit like, sitting in a plane while both engines are on fire, and whilst looking out of the window, you do realize that the landing wheels are falling off as well. I just like to show this because I think it sort of, breaks things down. This is a cut from what is called the Conti playbook. It's the instruction manual for new workers in the Conti group on how to hack. So basically, you don't really need an education to be a hacker either. You can just, like in our hotels, you can walk in and you get a manual on how to do it. And like you see, they know what they're looking for. And this is a little cutout, I don't know if you can read it, by someone who has actually tried to chat with the hackers. Now, we don't know who it is because we never talked to them. We just, went on with our business. But it is quite interesting to see how much they are demanding to open the files and how certain they are that they've shut us down and they've shut all the elevators down. And imagine if they'd actually done that. We had guests trapped inside elevators. I think we might have been looking a bit differently upon if we wanted to negotiate with them or not, if there were lives at stake. But luckily, it wasn't. But the attack came, of course, in the middle of the night. At a point, it was just, before the new lockdown, so everybody was out having their Christmas parties, and I think we had around 24,000 guests on their way to and from our hotels, and we cut the hotels up from knowing who they were. So they, they had like manual lists, fire lists, but that was basically all they had. They couldn't, make room keys, they couldn't open any systems, figure out where anyone lived, or what anyone was supposed to pay. Everything was down. They didn't know which rooms that were clean or dirty. And we didn't know when the lockdown came what guests will still arrive and who will not come. So all the experts sort of advised us at the same, you need to shut down the business at least for like a week, maybe 3 weeks, at least 3 days. There's no way you can keep the hotels open. The only way to regain control is to shut your business down. They say leadership is about, standing still when the wind is blowing at its worst. And what we did was we said that we have our hotels, we have our food, but most importantly, we have our people. So we won't shut the doors, not even for 1 second. Here you can see all the hotels, they sort of had to improvise with a lot of papers or whiteboards, trying to figure out what rooms that were clean or dirty, figure out what guest was whom. Fun thing, all the guests paid everything that they were due. The guests were just helping as well because the hotel staff were so nice and they were so understanding. And at Tech, they were put to their sort of life's task. But within 12 hours, actually, we could tell our CEO that we had a way, one, to give the hotels, manual information so they could go about their business for about 48 hours. And then another 48 hours on how we can actually get, clean the systems and get them up and running again. So it looked a bit like this. Day 1 to 4, we had manual solutions on all hotels. And we decided to migrate all our computers from Windows and over to Chrome OS Flex, which still hasn't been hacked. So we actually cleaned all the computers and gave them a new operative system within 48 hours. We sat with temporary solutions for about 4 to 21 days. And then the teams collapsed, which I've learned later is quite usual. 3 weeks is the maximum on what you can do before your teams collapse. And there's not really, there's no one else that you can hire to come in and do that job because you've used all your resources on it already. There's no backup team. So we had to let the team rest. And then we worked for, an overall of 90 days with restoring everything. So we survived the hacker attack and the lockdown, and me in bed for a week with Corona, but without losing any business and without losing any employees. And we had planned to do some of these projects already, and that's why we could fast-track them. We obviously hadn't planned to do them in such a short time. We planned, change management, everything that goes with new systems and digitalization. Instead, we actually did it in 48 hours, and we created headlines. We had Google sending out press releases, and the case is taught in hospitality schools today, and even the Wall Street Journal came to write about us. And the fun thing about the article in the Wall Street Journal is that the journalist that we spoke to, she was going to illustrate the article, and she was so frustrated because all the pictures that we sent her were of people smiling. And she was going to write, it's a serious topic, cybercrime. You want to write like a really serious article. And I think this is the most serious picture she could find because everyone was just laughing. And she was like, what is going on with your company? Why are you happy? You're fighting a cyber attack and a lockdown. But our teams were actually having fun. And they were having fun doing advanced problem solving. So the last 2 years have been a bit like this for us. We had our all-time high, then we had the famous Corona, like you all did. Then we came a bit back up, then we had the cyber attack and new restrictions. Then the war came, and then we also went into partnership with Muse, which is probably why I'm here today. I would not have been invited to talk if we were not, I think. We're rebranding the company, and then we're rolling out now a large digitalization program that we're going to use about 18 months to do, that we call the Strawberry Tech Stack program. So I started this talk with saying how we believe that culture is an investment. We have an annual winter conference every year in January, except last year we did it twice, but I don't think we will do that again. It was very exhausting. And a lot of people think that, it's very, it's a huge waste of money on a party and drinks and music and fun, but that's where we think that they are wrong. We think that our investment in the winter conference and the culture work that we do every day will give a return on profit. And how can you measure that, really? If culture is return on profit, you can measure it on your absence level, because poor culture makes you sick. But you can also measure it, we think, on the fact that what your teams succeed in doing every day. So we believe that we see that every day, and we believe that that is the story of the hacker attack illustrates that very brilliantly, how the fact that all our teams feel like we're family, we're a part of this company, and they step up, and they really they're being creative, solution-oriented, And they come to work even in very hard times, and they find good solutions, and they help each other through. And we don't think that you can get that without investing in culture. We don't think that we can digitalize without investing in culture. And I don't think that we could have sort of, we're going to migrate around 220 hotels in 18 months to about 18 new systems. So it's 17,000 employees that you're going to, rip up, give new processes. Sometimes you don't even know the new process. They have to figure it out, and that's kind of hard. It's time-consuming and complex. But we think that we will be able to do it, not without some problems along the way. It is challenging, but we believe that we can do that, and by also finalizing that project, we will reduce our CO2 footprint with 10% in 2023, sorry. And we think that that's what you get when your business is culture, and that investing in your teams will make your teams invest in you back. And with that, I'm going to finish my little talk with showing you a teaser from this annual winter conference that we're having. If the video works. Thank you.